Formula V race fans from around the world, this is the last race of the 2014 Australian Institute of Motorsport New South Wales Formula V State Championship. The last race, race 3, round 6 at Wakefield Park.
Okay, winner Darren Williams ahead of Steiny here. A couple of vacant spots. Timmy Brook can't finish any better or worse than second, so is focused on the National Series. Same with Thomas. Thomas has won the championship and is not running either.
Right, Dylan Thomas, after an enormous amount of domination throughout this year and winning lots of races, but only picking up one trophy race, is the state Formula V state champion. Okay,
so they're away. They're coming through turn 2 here. Simon Pace is...
someone's run off wide. That's an orange or red car, so we can't see from this distance. But anyway, the conditions are much better this morning.
He's on board with Simon Thompson here. He's had a reasonable start. He's got a couple of spots missing him of Thomas, who won the championship in this morning's race.
That line of cars missing. He's got Gary Ogden ahead of him.
And Gary Hook next to him.
Gary Hook next to him. They're big wheels. They touch.
Jeez, you could say there was a car width given there.
Normally see Gary Hook drive with a bit of assertion, but actually, he certainly has. And this is great. Do they touch wheels? No, they don't. Oh, this is awesome stuff from Gary Hook and Simon. Oh, that's wheel to wheel real.
Oh, there's off. Who's that? There's two off.
Real. That's
Craig Sparks.
Spark has gone off.
And is that Simon Thompson after all that?
Cars going everywhere. And it's a bit hard to tell.
And there's another one off there. Jeff Bethingway as well. There's 3 off up the top.
Well, that would only happen if there's oil, lubrication of the circuit surface.
Unless they came together.
We'll find out more as time goes by. Let's see.
Oh, it's Al Harrison that was off. It wasn't Simon Thompson. My apologies.
Right, but Jeff Bassingthwaite and Craig Spark. That's terrible luck for both of them, and especially for Craig.
Okay, so let's look at the lead group here. You've got Darren Williams leading from Daniel Stein, from James Horn, from Simon Pace, and what happened to Ogden? Ogden was leading.
Yeah, there's Gary. No, Gary was leading group, but he's not now. He's back in 5th place in the orange Corsica. There's Gary Hook after his exciting ride, just ahead of
with Simon Thompson, who we had a exciting ride with, and there's Hookie.
He's having another exciting ride, and there's another exciting ride. Cars going off everywhere. This is certainly not normal.
Bruce Perry again. Gas it up. Gas it up, brother.
The grass is probably as slippery as the track at the moment, I'd say. Something's obviously happened, and it would certainly have to be oil on the track from one of the cars.
He's on board with Simon Thompson. That's the view of Gary Hook going off that we saw earlier.
So how come Gary went off and Simon didn't? But we'll find out in a moment.
Oh,
there's a cloud of dust as the cars go everywhere.
As Steiny goes up the inside of Darren Williams, and it looks like Horny's going to go with him.
James Horn in the
first to third there from Darren Williams.
The great looking polar car.
How good has James Horn been this year?
Well, we know
when he's not had mechanicals.
Well, he's actually been as dominant or as fast as anyone out there, but he's had huge mechanical problems, and he's barely competed in this championship this year.
Well, I'd say he's competed. He just hasn't been able to be consistent through mechanicals.
Well, it's scored almost no points, unfortunately.
Okay, so they're about to come down the right-hander down the hill here. Oh, Steiny's off!
Oh, that's terrible.
So Darren Williams
go off.
So he's pacey. Everyone's off.
Cars go off except James. How did James Horn keep it on the track?
Skill, mate, skill. We've just been talking how good he was.
And that's Gary Ogden down the inside. No.
Here he's on board. Darren Williams, he almost ran up the back of Horny.
You know, the leaders, this group of cars didn't suffer from this problem when they went through the first time, but they have the second time. So I wonder if it's one of these leading cars that's causing the trouble.
Yeah, so it seems pretty slippery up there. Look at this. Matty Bode up the inside of... he didn't get there.
Now, all these cars have been through once before, so
Johnny Mack there.
They're now driving with the caution that they've learned the hard way.
Here's Craig Sparks, who spun earlier.
Down the inside.
Al Harrison.
Collision next to Alan
Peter
Harrison.
McDonald just in front of him.
In the Alan Harrison in the CXC self-built Harrison Formula V with Stinger bodywork.
Okay, so it's actually a widened Stinger bodywork because his car's wider than the Stinger. Who's that?
Okay.
Steiny up the inside of Matty Bode there.
That's right. Steiny, obviously, he had his big lose and he's got to make his way back up through the field. But I wonder if...
Pimmy, look how far forward Pimmy is this event.
Gee, there's lots of things happening, yeah. Well, Williams kept it on the track while a lot of others haven't.
There's the great-looking Jeff Bathingway. Jeff Bathingway's car's on the sign at Eastern Creek?
Yes, and it's featured in
Gary Ogden takes the lead.
Magazine. Gary Ogden goes through the lead. Let's see if James Horn can keep it on the track behind Gary Ogden.
Okay, so you've got and just a little gap back to Darren Williams and Pacey, and then Simon Thompson. who's ahead of Steiny, and that was Hookie.
Right, well, after all that action now, it looks like cars are keeping it on the track.
Okay, so we actually, well, it's at the right hand of the top where Simon Thompson has just gone off.
And Tomo goes off, yes.
So it's someone else just hits the dust there.
And
it's definitely slippery at that right hander at the top. Something's gone on up there.
Right, well, who knows? Maybe we'll get some news of what's causing this sometime during this race, and we'll let you know as soon as we find out.
So you had Ogden leading from Horn. Here you've got Duffy in front of Simon.
You've got two 1,200 cars ahead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1,600 cars at least there.
Look how strong Ogden is. Ogden's actually pulling some pace on Horny. So unless Ogden's dropping the oil and Horny can't see anymore.
Well, maybe that's what it is. But in a straight line, obviously Gary's very competitive, no doubt about that. Bit hard to tell.
Simon Pace got a great run out of that corner there from Darren Williams. I reckon he'll pass him at the end of the straight.
Right, Simon Thompson and Daniel Stein, and Gary Hook right on Daniel Stein's tail.
Here's Peter McDonald coming through ahead of. So that's a 1,200 ahead of Duffy. Duffy's had a bit of a drama. There's Alan Harrison up the inside of Pimmy, so Pimmy's working his way backwards.
There's lots of dramas going on. It's a bit hard to keep our mind on what's focused on what's actually happening. But
as I suggested, Simon Pace did get a cracking run on. But
Darren Williams won't let...
Solid.
He didn't shut the door, but he won't let Simon through. Darren, after winning the race this morning, of course, is right on it.
That was a great effort by Darren and to not be towed into the line there.
Looks like they're getting their racing act together in this race.
Morgo, good job there.
And that's John McDonald. We'll finally get a word in for John.
There's another bit of dust up in the background there. There's certainly something on the track up there. There's Simon Thompson, that's Daniel Stein.
And anyway, the leaders have just gone through the fish hook, and we've got...
Matty Bode's fallen back a bit there.
That's right. Simon Thompson going through, Daniel Stein, Gary Hook going through, Sky Blue Jacer, trying to let you know names to cars. Now, John McDonald, he's actually quite a way up there, and having trouble getting a word in for him.
Andrew Griffiths-Jones has actually made his way forward quite a lot.
Yeah, he's kept it on the track, where a lot of these cars that we see here didn't in the first couple of laps of excitement.
Okay, so you've got Gary Ogden's actually got a good few car lengths. It seems to be the distance remaining the same.
And they're braking hard now, so whatever caused the problems on the circuit must have evaporated away by now, I'd say. Yeah,
well, if there was a bit of oil down, it would probably... Oh, he's Steiny up the inside of Simon Thompson. If there was any oil on the track, all the cars, rubber going over it, it will get better. The grip will come back.
All right, so there's some real racing now, finally,
as
everyone's settled down.
Thompson.
Yes, and Daniel Stein takes the position from Simon Tomo. Okay, cars going through.
Bodie takes a bit of curb there.
Bouncing around. Andrew Griffiths-James there is looking fast ahead of Simon Duffy.
And Craig Sparks.
And unfortunately, Craig Sparks way back in this race. He won't be happy, of course.
Oh, big dive there from Jeff Bathyway.
And William Pym. Look at William Pym actually racing behind Jeff.
Got a lead here from James Horn. Simon Pace is going up the inside of Darren Williams. Great run here. I said he had the run at the last lap, but he's made a stick this lap.
That's right, Simon. Not the greatest here in 2014. Showed incredible speed, but just didn't quite get the points that he would have liked. Yeah. But he's certainly got the points for a third position now if he finishes in this position.
Oh, he used all the track on the exit there. How good was that?
That's a great...
Steiny ahead of Thompson.
That's right. The cars go through here. Let's see. There's Jacob Andrews and Simon Thompson going through.
Matty Bode, Jacob Andrews not in this race.
Sorry, of course, he after his incident this morning. And there's
look how close he's. Ogden's had a problem.
No, Ogden, he has stopped. Ogden, the leader of the race,
and he had margin.
He had a big lead, and now it's definitely not a big lead. It's a big minus.
It is a big minus. Might be minus oil pressure.
Minus oil pressure, and maybe that was the cause of the lubricated track surface that we saw at the beginning of the race.
Okay, so there's Griffiths-Jones doing a great job in front of Craig Sparks, in front of Duffy, in front of Al Harrison, and
that's
Bruce Perry, followed by the lead of Stevie Cannon.
It's hard to remember all the names there. Lots has happened here.
So now the top three is separated by the blanket.
That's right, the blanket's back. James Horn, Simon Pace and Darren Williams. And let's see.
Look at this battle
Daniel
for fourth.
Stein. Daniel Stein is back in fourth place. He's going to want to make that gap right up. And Gary Hook doing a fabulous job. And there we can see the leader, Gary Hook. Terrible bad luck for Gary Ogden. Sorry, terrible bad luck.
He had his hand up as he came in, so he was giving a sign to the other competitors that he was intended to come in.
He knows he's fast. He knows he might do well in the national titles at the end of November.
Well, that's what he was here for. But if he's lost oil pressure, I wonder if he's lost an engine.
Well, if he's lost an engine, at least he's got plenty of time to rebuild it.
Yeah, but it might hinder his lead lead up to it.
Okay.
Simon Pace up the inside of the lead.
Ahead of James Horn. Darren Williams, is he going to go down the inside of Horn? No, he doesn't do it. But this is fast now. These guys are on it. They're going to race themselves to the flag. We'll see what happens.
You know what the funny thing is? Simon Pace struggled on Friday practice, had brake problems. He almost put the car in the trailer to take it home. He ended up coming back, take pole position, and he's now leading the trophy race.
Right, well, he's had I think he's had, would this be his first trophy for the year? We'll have to go back through the record books to find out, but
I think he won a trophy race earlier in the year.
I think he did too. So
he'd be the only one that would win 2 trophy races, but it's still early in the race.
The race is
not even half distance yet.
Maybe Gary Hook wants the trophy. There's John McDonald's in the black Mako.
Actually, there's a good stat for you. If Darren Williams wins this race, it will be a different trophy race winner in every single race of every single round of the year. 6 different trophy race winners.
So the Australian Institute of Motorsport should be very happy with the level of competition in New South Wales Formula V racing. Not only are our cars greatly presented, but they're all fast and relatively equal and extremely competitive.
Well, it actually just speaks volume for the category as well, because you've got about 5 different manufacturers winning, you've got about 4 different engine builders winning. So it's nice close racing through the whole field.
Right, and the close racing we can see here as well. Maybe not at the moment because of the safety car or what's happened earlier has spread the field right out. But right at the front of the pack of cars.
And it's not just the front though that's good battles. All the way through the field, you've got some damn good drivers that are fighting for a top 10.
And here we see the 1200 cars mixed up with William Pym.
Here's Darren Williams looking up the inside of Pacey. Pacey says none of it. So Horney's there. Horney's been fast all weekend, so Horney's a good chance for the win as well.
Williams got through James Horn on that last lap, of course.
And Horney actually won the first trophy race of the year, so Horney started strong. He'd like to finish strong.
No doubt he will, but anyway, these guys, they're 3 of the top drivers. They're going to race nose to gear shift and wheel to wheel for the rest of this race.
Okay, so a group that was probably a lot bigger earlier in the weekend. You've lost Gary Ogden to probably an oil problem or something. You've lost Timmy Brook and Thomas elected not to run after already wrapping up the championships, 1st and 2nd places.
Right, and he's 4th, 5th and 6th place. They're about 5 seconds behind the leading pack of 3.
And there's Steiny, who's also should be in the front group, but he spun off on that oil earlier on in the race. So did Simon Thompson.
7th and 8th was Morgan Fremantle and John McDonald. Great driving for them under terrible conditions.
Darren Williams.
Well, Darren doesn't want to give up. James Horn, he might have a good run down the straight here.
Yeah, I reckon
he did
strong.
have a bit of a run. He might go down the inside of Darren Williams. We'll get a shot of that in a second. We see Daniel Stein in 4th.
Hookie's done a great job to hang with these two, because these two have been fast all weekend.
Well, that's not only all weekend, they've been fast all year, so we know Gary can have the speed.
And so is Morgo. Morgo's back a bit, and Johnny Mack's doing a good job to stay with them. So is Matty Bode doing a good job.
All these guys are driving fast, and
back it in, Sparky.
Sparky hanging the tail out in the wet and the dry now.
Yeah, there's Al Harrison, followed by Andrew Griffiths-James and Simon Duffy and Bruce Perry and
Jeff Bassingthwaite. He had a bit of a slide up too.
Yeah, he's starting to give it a go now as well. Starting to get used to that new car of his.
Now, how did they all get on the circuit? Oggie's not there, so
yeah.
All right.
Okay, so he's William Pym in front of the Cannon father and son.
Back to the front now. Yes, Darren Williams. No.
He didn't get the run we thought he was going to get.
Darren Williams kept his 2nd place. He must have, moved over slowly across the track.
Might have got a bit of help from a tow from Simon Pace, who did get a good exit.
That's great. Simon, actually, he's not falling back into the clutches at all.
And Simon Pace is currently 3rd in the championship, and I think Darren can possibly grab him, but I think twitch there.
There was a hang the tail out in that.
I think Simon would need a really bad result.
Now that Mako's got independent recoilovers on each corner at the back,
which is opposed to what most guys run with the monoshock.
That's right. So the handling characteristics would be different, but not that much difference.
It's also a very soft setup car. Look at this hook he's got in front of Simon Thompson.
That's right.
That's given Steiny a bit of a couple of car lengths now.
Hookie, what a drive! Great to see you here. That's top 5 now.
And there's Johnny Mack's got ahead of Morgo as well.
Hang the tail out, Simon. Will that allow Darren Williams a run down the main straight? There aren't too many laps to go. There aren't too many laps to go at all.
There's still a few. I've still got quite a few actually.
Well, we're at more than halfway through this race. So Gary Hook, he's consolidated that position now.
It's a long race, this one. The final race is 18 laps around this 2.1 kilometre Wakefield Park circuit.
Right, so that's 40 kilometres of racing. That's a long way. It is. You're right.
Okay, so there's
Sparky hanging the tail round. Was that Bodie hanging the tail?
That was Al Harrison. Bodie was ahead of that battle here. Here you go. Here's the top three.
And
Darren Williams dives on the inside. He's going to go.
Inside. Come on, break deep. No.
See, the drama you got there is as soon as he goes to the inside, he narrows up his entrance to the corner, so he's got to break earlier, which gives Simon the ability to break later.
Yeah, but Darren didn't give it didn't take the risk. If there are a few laps to go.
There still is a few to go here, yeah, because we're going to run for a fair bit of time still, and we're not probably about.
So it just seems like
saying about 5-7 laps to go.
Just these drivers, maybe there's a bit of fatigue setting in.
Well, Simon, look at that, Darren Williams just goes around.
Williams loops it. That means that Simon's out on his own and James Horner had to back off. He's a bit on his own.
Oh, man. Darren Williams has been the fastest guy all weekend, and he's now throwing it away on that slippery surface on the exit of turn 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, it's a turn coming back down the hill.
Down the hill. That's more commonly known than 5.
Turn back down the hill, that's right. But there's John McDonald, the Formula V Association New South Wales president, in the top. He's now in 7th place, I think.
Okay, so look at this.
Sixth place.
Pacey's got a little margin here to Jimmy Horn, but Jimmy's been strong all weekend as well, so he should be able to close that up.
Right, so from what was a sprint race has now maybe turned into a bit of an endurance race. We'll see how all these drivers survive.
Near up 20 laps in a Formula V is quite endurance.
Fair enough. We'll see how they survive these.
Some of them probably would even have to lean their cars up to make sure that their small fuel tanks can make it. Matty Bode's having a solid race here.
A good performance from Matt, who's had a few races off and returned in this event.
Duffy! That was deep.
Simon Duffy went for a desperate down the inside of Andrew James.
It's not even in the last lap. That was really deep.
But good to see Simon. He's stretching it and giving it a go.
Simon's actually made a couple of yards there. Look at this. Hooky's gone defensive from Thompson, so these guys fighting has actually allowed Steiny to drive away from him. Well, Simon Thompson's going to. I thought he was going to have a look.
For Hooky and Simon, it's just a race for themselves now.
They're all over each other. You know what? These guys should work together a bit better. Get back to Steiny and fight the bigger now.
Well, maybe they get to now.
Pimmy from Bernie ahead of Stephen.
And these are the two 1200 cars in the event now.
Similar gap from the front two there. They've got a margin of Darren Williams, who's got a pretty lonely race now from a lonely Daniel Stein. Actually, this is actually probably the most isolated cars I've seen in Formula V for a long time.
Yeah, but don't forget, a lot's happened in this event. The oil out of the track early on.
Simon Pace is still giving it though, because he still slid it around the exit there.
He is, and it looks like the gap's increasing just slightly. Back to James Horn in second place.
It is. Darren Williams is not shaking Daniel Stein here. Both these guys have been fast at the latter part of the season.
Well, he did lose. Darren Williams did lose second place, but he's still there in third at least.
He's Simon Thompson looks like he's got a run on Gary Hook this time. Okay, and then Matty Bode's caught up to Craig Spark here, and so is Al Harrison.
Al Harrison, mate, he's got his foot right into it.
Al Harrison's actually had a fairly strong end of the season as well.
He has, and a lot of physical effort required to drive these cars, especially over this distance.
Okay, so let's see. We said that Simon Thompson had a good run on Gary Hook. Let's see if he can get up the inside. Looks like he's going to do so.
And he did, yes. He's safely taken the place back. That's now 4th and 5th place that we see.
5th and 6th.
5th and 6th, sorry, that we see
He's
racing
first and second. And then in the background you can see Darren Williams in third, and then we missed Steiny in fourth.
Where is Steiny? Steiny is just out of frame there.
Yeah, I think there was a little cut in the little shot there. So the last corner there coming on, you've got you've got Simon Pace is not pulling any more margin on Horny, but Horny's not making. Darren Williams still backing it in. So Steiny coming in the background just now. There goes Steiny. Simon Thompson's got a car length and a good exit here. Good exit there from Thompson on Gary Hook.
That's right. Gary's dropped back a bit there. Bruce Perry, he's obviously trying hard in this event.
Okay, so here's Duffy. Duffy's caught back up to this group, and hopefully he doesn't do another desperate like the last one.
Right, Andrew.
The leaders here have caught up to the back markers of the 1200. There's Peter McDonald. Simon Pace goes through on him.
They're going through one by one. No
but
real
with all this should help out James Horn here.
There's Bernie Cannon. He's racing for his position.
Up to a narrowing part of the track.
Bernie Cannon doing really well. He's pulled a good lead ahead of his son, Stephen.
Where's Horny? Horny didn't make up as much ground in that pit as I thought he would.
No, I think now in this stages of a race like this, when you're falling back slightly, maybe you should be conserving and consolidating your own position, looking in your rearview mirrors.
We've still got probably about 6 laps to go in this race here. So, geez, Simon, geez, what was that? Jimmy Horn on the
James
inside.
Horn, when you got 3 cars wide coming down into the braking area.
I don't know if William Pym saw him on the inside there. He went to the inside. Maybe he went to the inside to give James Horn the space on the outside, but James was already committed to the inside.
So we can thank
Simon Thompson.
Thank William for giving us a bit of action there. That's good in this race.
I don't think Jimmy Horn was thanking for the action there. I think he would have preferred not to have it. Thank you very much.
Of course.
A lot of curve there from Simon Pace.
Pacey hanging the tail and bouncing over the curves.
Nice and clean there from James Horn.
It's worth mentioning Andrew Griffiths-James. Thanks for coming up from Victoria to race with us in this event. We'll, hopefully have had a good time.
Steiny's catching Darren Williams there a bit, I think. So.
And yes, hang on. That's Cook still racing with Simon Thompson.
So he didn't get him last time, but he's got a better exit this time.
Cook
so he may have him.
Up. You know, the Australian Cinema Motorsport 2014 Formula V State Championship has been one of the best championships I've ever seen, you know. We've had some great races. This one's a little bit quieter, but we've had some great races.
Okay, Hookie in the background, he got a good exit on that last corner, so he should have the run on Simon Thompson. It looks like he has.
He does. He actually got a good slipstream. It didn't look like it coming
done it early
onto the main straight, but maybe Simon just didn't get the gearing right, changed a bit early, changed a bit late, who knows. But he hasn't given up. He never gives up.
Yeah, there's Johnny Mack, our New South Wales Formula V president, having a cracking battle there with the ultra-fast Morgo.
That's right, they're racing nose to nose and wheel to wheel.
Sparky.
Craig Spark
he's pulled a bit of gap back on Matty Bode. Bodie was catching him earlier, but now falling back. I wonder if he made a little mistake somewhere.
Mate, you might say there's not a lot of racing going on, but it does take a lot of skill, a lot of concentration.
I can tell you what,
to keep your speed up on your own, as these guys are doing.
To do a good lap in these things, in these Formula Vs, is very difficult. It's very rewarding when you put all your corners together and carry the corner speed really well.
Exactly, and that's what these leaders are doing. There's James Horn going through.
James Horn's actually dropping back a little bit there.
Yeah, Darren Williams there, who's kept his third place.
I think he got caught up a bit in traffic, Horny.
As these leading cars have. You're right, it is a terribly long race and things do happen. But Gary Hook has kept his position.
How's the toe between these two? These two have probably got the best battle going on in the circuit. They've been swapping positions nearly every lap down the straight.
They're certainly the stars of this race. They certainly are.
Morgo's lost a car length there to our president. So
Craig Spark on his own going through there.
Yeah, look at this. Al Harrison's catching up to Bodie
here. He certainly is. Go for it, Alan. Great to see you.
These three have been together all race long.
Hammer down Harrison. That's what we should is.
Hammer down Harrison.
That's right.
That's a cracking name.
Okay, the leader goes through there.
You can relate him to Lewis Hamilton, because we always say they always say over the radio to Hamilton, it's hammer down.
Yes. So, okay, third place goes through. Darren Williams there in the brilliant-looking Hankook Racing tyres.
How well presented is that car?
It is the one of the best presented cars we've ever seen in Formula V, and that says a lot in New South Wales.
And how good is it to see Hankook coming on board with our category?
I'm sure Darren Williams is even happy to see come on board with our category.
It certainly is, especially since we run a Dunlop control tyre this year. It looked like we're going to Hoosier next year, or we are going to a Hoosier next year.
That's right, and interesting to see how the Hoosier tyres will perform. Although in the earlier tyre test we did at this track a few weeks ago, really it was
nothing in it, mate.
Nothing in it.
8-1 with a Dunlop and an 8-1 with a Hoosier.
That's right, in the dry, and the Hoosier had lots of tread left on it by the end of a very long day.
Well, it's got a deeper tread. It's a 5.4 mil tread depth on the Hoosier, and it's only a 4 mil tread depth on the Dunlop. But the circumference seems to be fairly similar.
All right, well, maybe that'll mean cheaper racing for everyone under the Hoosier. We'll be able to tell you this maybe in a year's time.
Yep. By this time next year, we certainly will know a lot more.
Funny about that. That's interesting. Yes. Okay. We just saw Daniel Stein catching Darren Williams there.
Yeah, he's been plugging. Simon!
And Simon, he's run wide. One wide.
That was a bit ambitious. I think there's only a lap or two to go now.
Did he run wide or one wide? I'm not sure.
I don't know. That was pretty deep. That was almost a bit like Simon Duffy's move earlier on.
That's exactly right.
Maybe not quite as deep.
But actually,
look at this, Al Harrison. He's all over Bodie now. So Bodie's dropping away as this race has gone on.
But Al Harrison's got
a good exit on that exit as well.
He might get a slip.
Talking of Duffy diving, he's got both of them.
He's taken two cars. No,
had to hesitate mid corner.
He actually took no cars. It looked like he took two in and none out.
Okay, so Simon Pace up the front's doing this easy from James Horn in second, doing it easy from Darren Williams, who's starting to get some pressure pressure from Daniel Stein, who's got a 1200 all over his tail.
Right, still a few laps to go, but obviously less than the last one.
Okay, so Hookie's now got
a good lead over Simon Thompson.
Morgo gets chopped by the president.
Mate, he was off the track too, 2 wheels on the grass. He was doing it desperate.
I think this is the last lap board. There's a last lap board up in the background.
They're all desperates.
So Al Harrison got the run on Matty Bode, but goes wide. Matty Bode will get the run going back up the hill.
Now there's action, after 18 laps of quietness.
Remember that narrows up. So this is the last lap.
Last lap's happening, Simon Pace.
He does it easy, still backing it in there, though.
And hangs the tail out, and he's chucking wheelies and slides, and it'll be ahead of James Horn. Great drive, James.
I think James Horn settled for second earlier on in the race.
Yes, they all settled.
Darren Williams is now caught up a little bit.
Yeah, he's gone fast. Yeah, he's pulling away from Daniel Stein.
Or maybe James Horn just went a bit slower.
Right, and looks like there's Bernie Cannon.
Bernie Cannon's going to lead the 1200s.
Ahead of Stephen, ahead of William Pinn, ahead of Peter McDonald. Great to see you back.
Hookie, is he going to get outrun? He's going to get outrun here by Simon Thompson.
Great. Well, we'll find out in a moment. And there's Morgo. Morgo down the inside of Johnny Mack. Now they're side by side down the straight for the last time. Well, let's see what happens. We won't know until we see the checkered flag.
We won't know.
Bruce Perry ahead of Simon Duffy. They've been racing all race, wheel to wheel as well.
Oh, okay, so here's the checkered flag. Here's Simon Pace with a well-deserved trophy race win, his second one of the year. Followed by Jimmy Horn. What a cracking driver this kid is.
An endurance race, this certainly was.
Okay.
Darren Williams and then Daniel Stein, you can see.
What a pity for Darren Williams. I don't think he'll be happy with third. He's been so fast all weekend.
But he did get the win today
Stein
as well.
Fourth. What an awesome effort.
But look in the distance there. Gary Hook
is he
and Johnny Mack side by side. We see the 1200 cars go through.
I think Hookie held out Simon Thompson.
Hookie got it. That's incredible.
Okay, and you also saw the 1200 battle end there with Bernie Cannon pipping Simon Cannon from Peter Mack.
Andrew Griffiths-James go through. There's Johnny Mack and Morgo going through.
So Morgo actually beat Johnny Mack to the line. What an effort there by Morgo.
And Craig Spark going through. We'll get all the positions right in a moment.
Okay, so that's an awesome effort. And there's Al Harrison as well doing a good job. Look at that, the background here. Everyone's gone a bit defensive.
They're going left and right and left.
Okay, so that's Bruce Perry from Griffiths-Jones from Duffy, and then in the background Matty Bode, who had a spinner because he was with Al Harrison earlier.
Okay, well,
and then there's Jeff Bathingway coming out at the back of the field there. He must have had a drama too.
All right.
So just a note here, we've actually got a couple of exclusions in this race afterwards. You've had Simon Pace take the win from James Horn, Darren Williams. Now missing from there is Daniel Stein, who got excluded from a ride-eyed issue. Then Gary Hook, Morgo Fremantle, Johnny Mack, and then got excluded was Simon Thompson from a lift issue, then Johnny Mack, Craig Spark, and Al Harrison with one of his better results of the year.
Bernie Cannon takes out the win ahead of Simon Cannon, and well done to them, and great and Peter McDonald in third place. Great to have you back, and a great thank you to the Australian Institute of Motorsport for sponsoring us throughout 2014.